Hi, I'm Leanne and I'm an illustrator and I love sharing stories from the art I create. There is something about travel that just sparks my creativity. A few weeks ago I took a trip down to Kent and had a lovely time with family. I took away my travel set, paint set, and just had a really good opportunity to sit and paint on location. You'll see that I was painting coast, really quite simple, but I loved it and it was quite therapeutic. It was so peaceful, and when I got home I finished off the painting and decided that I was going to start a new daily habit to practice drawing, even if it was just like a tiny drawing each day. I tried this before and really enjoyed it, but then I had a long break, and so I decided to challenge myself by starting this new tiny frame series where I focus on capturing small illustrations that told an everyday story. Today I'm going to take you along as I paint on location and show you what I've been producing back in the studio as I work on these little mini pieces. I think it's a good illustration of how tiny drawings can hold big memories. My hope is that this inspires you to find a story or a tiny moment in your day and week that you can capture, whether it's through drawing, journaling or any other means, but just taking time to slow down and find the value in your story, because so often I find with social media and just life in general, it's so easy to get caught up in the mundane and in the comparison of what other people are doing or achieving, and I think it's important that we find our own path, and I hope that this inspires you to find yours. I share more on how I find inspiration in the everyday on the Creative and Curious Club podcast with practical tips and ideas in episode 17. There is a link in the description if you want to check it out. And in the latest episode, I've been talking and thinking about the art of going gently with my creativity, goals, and even with myself. It's easy to feel like we should always be doing more, creating faster and chasing the next thing. But I believe that the power is in slowing down and allowing me the opportunity to explore my creativity without rushing. Teaches me that it's about presence, being here in this moment and letting it unfold naturally. Some of my favourite drawings have come from the days when I gave myself the permission to just be and to sketch without pressure or expectation. And maybe that's the real secret: progress that feels like kindness, and art that grows at its own pace. As I started sketching this little robin, I found myself thinking about how much meaning these tiny birds hold for people. There's something comforting about a robin, and I know many of us have our own stories of what a robin means to them. They're often, I believe, seen as messengers of hope or reminders of someone we've loved or perhaps lost. And I think that's part of why I love including them in my artwork more recently. They remind me to stay curious and to look for the small moments of light, even on days when it just feels heavy or things are uncertain or unknown. Especially with the change in seasons, they're becoming more and more prevalent, and I think it's a nice touch to see a robin in winter. You know, that red breast sticks out amongst the frost and the kind of grey colours that tend to swipe across our sky. This particular piece of my tiny frame series was something that I began to capture as part of my little stories in miniature form, and they don't have to be big or perfect. They're just moments to allow me to sit down and sketch they hold maybe a feeling or a moment of calm. I've always believed that creativity doesn't have to be grand, and sometimes it just needs to be about showing up, drawing something small and reconnecting with yourself for a few moments. As I sketched and drew this robin perched on a toadstool, I imagined it sitting quietly in the woods, just observing the world. Can you imagine the stories they must gather? Often when I sit down to create, I feel like I'm pressing pause for a moment and just taking time to notice the beauty that's around me, and I want to do more of that. For anyone local to Oxfordshire, I'm actually planning a Creative and Curious Club workshop soon, and the theme will be Robin and Woodland Magic, with a festive twist of course. I'll be sharing some of these tiny locations in person and guiding others through how to create their own, and it's something I really wanted to do for a while. I started testing back in June this year, bringing people together. I think it's so special to be able to slow down, paint and connect creatively in a gentle and encouraging space. So whether it's through these tiny frames or my workshops, I really hope that I create encouragement for you to make time in your own day, in your own week, for your own creativity, to let art be a little reminder of hope, curiosity and joy. Let me know if you enjoyed this little series, and if you want to see more of my tiny frames I can show you in another vlog. Here are a few that I've worked on. Well, thanks so much for watching today's vlog and coming along. I hope you enjoyed a little glimpse into my process, and I hope this inspires you to sketch something in your day, in your week too. Let me know in the comments below if you have a go, and I'll see you in the next vlog.